Terry, how legitimate are these guys? Seriously.
There is one stat that I love. The only teams that have ever made it to the NBA Finals are teams with a winning record on the road. As we stand here today, the Pistons have a winning road record. So I am not going to totally dismiss them. I would never bet on them to go to the Eastern Conference Finals or anything. But when you blowing people out, they're not just beating people; they're kicking people's ass.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cleveland, but Cleveland is the team to beat because Cleveland they smoking people by 18, 19, 20 points. That team is legit. But I think the bottom line is we're going to see Cleveland and we're going to see Boston. And I know the Pistons beat them badly, but I want to present that Boston game with a grain of salt. That Boston Piston game is what we call a league game. That was a game that the Celtics were supposed to lose because A, they played the night before, B, they're on the road, C, they're playing a team who's at home with fresh legs. That's a league game. Well, that's a loss.
Push back a little bit. The Pistons had played 3 games in 4 days, and that was the 3rd game. So they had just came off a back-to-back too.
I thought they were off the night before.
Well, they were, but I'm saying they had a back-to-back like right before that. That was their 3rd game in 4 days when they beat the Celtics.
But they didn't play the day before.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
League game.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come
and we
back.
got another one tomorrow. We got another one tonight. Denver coming off a back-to-back, Pistons with a day rest.
Right.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys all a question when we come back. Just throw a little curveball. We'll get into some Michigan State stuff. By the way, I'm used to buzzer beaters happening against my team. I'm not used to it happening, especially as a Michigan State guy, spending a long time. I'm used to clock stopping. I'm used to Kenny Anderson's foot being on the line. I'm used to just fucked up things happening. So to see buzzer
Well,
beaters,
wait a minute. Stop it. You got Sparty Bob.
well, that's on the football side. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. But basketball, I've seen some things, man. I've seen some things.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah. Kemper Arena. Kids, look it up. That's all I'll say. All right, we'll get into that as well. And then I can't wait. Terry's top 5 white guys.
And they're all white, too.
It's amazing. They are all white. We'll get into that. So glad you could join us today. Thanks for tapping in. He's Terry Foster in for Darren. I'm Sean Belegian in for Neil. The gang is all here at Woodward Sports. Okay, seriously, I want you especially, Spenny, look up Kemper Arena.
Yeah.
The clock stopped!
You said it's an 86?
Yes, it stopped!
That's
Scott Skiles was a killer, by the way. Scott Skiles? He was an assassin.
He was.
Yep.
Could you imagine if Scott Skiles was in college basketball 1 year later with the 3-point line? It would have been insane. That guy, he murdered people.
Not the best coach though.
No, but I mean, as
a player, as a hard-nosed player,
yeah. His trash talk to Antoine Joubert, you kids look that up too.
Oh, he called him Fat Boy.
Fat Boy.
And then Antoine Joubert was like a hero in Detroit.
Yeah.
He was the judge, and everybody loved him, and he called him Fat Boy.
Spenny, so I want you to think about this. He was like one of the biggest recruits. He ends up at Michigan.
Yeah.
And Scott Skiles repeatedly called him Fat Boy. You can't cover me, Fat Boy. Watch what I'm going to do here, Fat Boy.
Nice.
I mean, Larry Bird level shit. Yeah. You see some of those videos where Larry Bird looks at a guy like right before he takes his soul and says, I want you to know I'm going to roll around you and see that spot right there? I'm going to hit a 3 from right there. And the guy doesn't even know. His soul's already gone.
My best one with Larry Bird, Chuck Person played for the Indiana Pacers. It was a holiday game. And Larry Bird took a 3-point shot in Chuck Person's face and said, Merry Christmas.
No.
Sank the 3-point shot.
But
win the game.
It was stuff like that. And Joubert was, boy, not that we've heard this before with all our prospects around here and whether it be baseball or recruits, but Antoine Joubert was like he was like the recruit. And
he was overrated though.
Yeah, he was
because
he was going to bring Michigan back.
At the time, I was living in Grand Rapids. I was working in Grand Rapids, and so before that I saw Joubert play, and then I said to Mick McCabe, "There's this dude over here named Gard Thompson who's just as good as Antoine Joubert."
Thompson. Wow, dude.
And he told me that's bullshit. They went to Michigan. Both of them went to Michigan and had pretty similar careers.
Really? Truly?
Right.
Yeah. But Skiles talks so much. You can't cover me, fat boy. Come here, fat boy. You can't keep up. I mean, just talk shit.
No, he was telling him, come on over here.
Yeah.
I want to give it to you up close and personal.
Spenny, you've been banging this drum for a while. So I figured T's here. I've heard it. KG's heard it. Chase has heard it. But I'm going to... Does Cade Cunningham deserve some serious MVP chatter? Is he in the conversation?
He's in the second layer of conversation, but yeah, the team is not good enough for him to be MVP, but I think he's in that second layer. Yeah, he could be talked about.
Yeah.
But the thing that's hurting Cade Cunningham is the number 14.
Mm-hmm.
People still look back to last year, the 14 wins, and that's still hurts him. You know, if they had like a regular season last year, maybe 40 and 42 or whatever, and he said, hey, you know, the Pistons could be up and coming, and then he's having a season like this, and the Pistons are above 500, you'd hear more conversations.
I think
you don't get, in the NBA, you don't get your love until 1 year too late.
Right.
That is such a legitimate point. You're 1,000% right. If they were just even a coochie coo 32 win team, I bet you'd be a different flavor. Like, really, that's such a legitimate
14
point.
to 32 is not coochie coo.
No,
that's a big.
I'm talking
it's
about
a
a
huge
32 win team. If it,
Right.
like that type of shit. Oh,
Yeah,
that
right.
little baby's getting so big. You know, if you had something like that, maybe. But you're right. It's almost like I think the rest of the league next year is going to probably be a year behind.
Yeah,
Like,
that's it.
where you been?
Everything in the NBA correlates with winning. So if they give you your love, it normally correlates with you winning a whole bunch of games. So T-Foss, I definitely agree with you. But if the Pistons continue to push, and let's say they get to a 4 seed and actually have a chance to host a playoff series, I'm not saying Cade would win it, but he should absolutely be in the top 5, maybe even top 3 of MVP conversation, especially when you look at kind of how the national media has now taken into account the Pistons. Like, literally yesterday, I've never seen so much Pistons attention, maybe ever since 04. Like, I haven't seen this much national media coverage of what the fuck the Pistons are doing in a very, very long time. So I think that kind of helps his case as well. More eyes are starting to be put on Cade Cunningham and this Pistons team. So if they can get to like a 4th seed, I think he should be top 5 at least.
Well, if they do that, then they're going to be like Sports Illustrated strong. They would do a little story, maybe an inside thing in Sports Illustrated. Hey, look who's coming here.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not that yet.
Not
but
yet.
there's still a possibility.
You know, I had this conversation with my hockey friends, and this is not a shot against the Red Wings. This is a factual statement. If you want to make the argument that the Red Wings' future looks brighter, I'll hear that. You know, because of all the pieces. But Lord knows, again, we got to be honest. We know all about the prospects. Remember all the can't-miss guys Al Avila had, for example. But today, as I sit here today on February 28th, the Detroit Pistons' chances of making the playoffs are a lot better than the Red Wings' chances. And I said that to some of my buddies because, I mean, you know me. I run with a bunch of hockey guys, and we were talking about it, and I was like, you guys, you understand the Pistons' chances are like a lot better. And it was almost like everybody had to catch himself and go, well, yeah, I guess you're right. You know, because, again, Terry, they're a hell of a lot closer to going to that forbidden zone of a top 4 seed than they are from flying out of the playoff. I mean, that's just the reality of where we're sitting right now. And I'm not sure the average fan, Piston heads, you guys are all in. I get it. But the average fan who has a little of this going on, a little of that going on, I don't think the average fan understands that. How cool this is and how special.
No, because they probably didn't look at the standings the last 4 weeks.
You got it. Yep, that's exactly.
I think if the Pistons get to the 4 seed, then he'll get some first place votes.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to win it. It's going to be Jokic or SGA. But if they get to the 4 seed and he continues to play the way he's playing, he'll get a couple first place votes.
As he should.
I'll say I want the Knicks. I am so
I do
serious.
too.
I want the Knicks. I really, truly, I think matchup purposes, for height purposes. I mean, can you imagine, Terry? This would speed up the process you just talked about. You knock off the Knicks.
Yeah.
guess what? That clock, which is a year behind, maybe we pick up an additional 6 months just by the fact you knock off the Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. Because if you beat New York, that means you got to play in New York. And that is the Mecca right there. So if you do something there, then Cade Cunningham might finish.
They're 2-0 in the Garden this year.
And that's a place Cade has owned this season.
Yeah.
It is literally Madison Square Cade every time he goes there. So
I'd rather play the Knicks in the first round than the Pacers.
Oh, so same.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they have a better chance of
Pacers
beating.
might just kick their ass.
Yeah. I think they have a
don't
better
know.
chance of beating the Knicks than they do the Pacers.
I agree with that. But if we see the Pacers in a playoff situation, I think shit could be different.
That would be
because
fun too, because
Yeah.
like
They've
that's
been
like
chirping all
rekindling
year.
the rivalry for sure.
They've been chirping
All
all
right,
year.
so I need to ask
But,
you guys a question because, of course, every show is down in Indianapolis right now. And Terry, I don't know when that became like the hot kind of chic place to be, maybe 15, 20 years ago. Everybody would make their way down to Indianapolis for the combine. And, oh, you got to go to St. Elmo's. I've heard that once. I've heard it 10,000
Don't
times.
make fun of St. Elmo's, bro.
It's a good
See,
spot.
that like people just put that
Said, I'm
place-
offended.
Yeah.
People put that place on a pedestal.
They're a
It's-
great host city. They
Listen,
are.
the cocktail sauce is that good, though.
Have you been there?
I have been there.
Are you going to trash St. Elmo's?
Listen, because now.
You got to get the fuck out
No,
of here.
Get it,
listen,
Terry,
can I
get
tell
it.
you?
I'm
Do you know
gonna
what it
talk
reminds
to
me
you.
of? I say this all the time, okay? The way people talk about Wrigley Field and the reality of Wrigley Field are two different things. There is no way it can live up to the expectations. Like Wrigley Field, the way people talk about it, it's like that scene from Happy Gilmore. I half expect this, buxom woman to come out holding 2 steins of beer going, here you are, sir, here's your beer. The way there is no way it was ever going to live up to expectations. And that's the way I felt about St. Elmo's. I mean, people talk that place up. It's great. I recommend it. It was never going to live up to the way people talked it up, though. You know what I'm...
I hear you, but I'm still talking. It was good. And the thing is, with a great steakhouse, but the thing is that cocktail sauce will kick your ass.
They sell it, too. You know that.
I saw it on sale.
Yeah, they...
I like a
I-
good
we,
cocktail sauce. Pause.
We used to go there every time we went to Indy. We go to St. Elmo's. Now, one time, one of our boys had never been there. He knew nothing about the cocktail sauce, so he said, "Yeah, dude, you should order the shrimp and put lots of cocktail sauce on your shrimp." This dude, and the thing is, this cocktail sauce has 1 million gallons of horseradish in it. So this dude, he takes his shrimp and he puts a lot of cocktail sauce on it, sticks it in his mouth. And he goes, oh, my God, he fell out of his chair.
Oh, shit.
How much of this... I'm serious. To you guys out there, to everybody in here, how much of the Underwear Olympics do you actually watch? I'm serious. Because I'll tell you what I do. I have an office at home. I have the TV on in the office. It's just this, okay?
Yeah.
And this time of year, I just kind of leave the NFL Network on for the Underwear Olympics. And as I'm going about my business during the day, if I walk by, I'll kind of glance at the TV. If something, doesn't look interesting to me, I keep walking. But I don't make it destination viewing. If I'm walking by the television, like I'll tell you flat out, I'll get home today, go get the mail. I walk by my office, I see something that piques my interest. I might tap in for a few minutes. But how much do you guys actually watch it? Do you actually sit down to watch this stuff?
No. I was more in line with you for a lot of years. Nowadays, they have the clips on YouTube. So if I want to see a specific player, I can just watch the highlights of said player. But besides that, no, because it's just... measurables are cool. The combine tells you some stuff, but you shouldn't be basing your whole draft strategy on the
100.
combine. And I think organization.
No, but the reason people watch that stuff is because I'm going to be a GM. I'm going to figure somebody out that the rest of these clowns can't figure out. And I'm going to say, hey, my team needs to pick Scooter Berry, whoever it's going to be.
Right.
So that's why people watch it.
Scooter Berry.
To make something up.
Mika mess.
Yeah. It was not Mika.
Yeah.
St. Brown.
Chase, are you into this stuff? I mean, because I think it got really hyped maybe, I don't know, a decade ago, 5 years ago. I don't think there's as much juice to it, just one man's opinion. Because like I a lot of times, like I said with the Pistons, I ask my kids. My kids are all in. They want to go down to LCA.
Yeah.
I asked my son about the combines, and he kind of gave me the look like, why would I watch that? I mean, so what's the vibe with guys your age?
I mean, I kind of like checked out of it over the years. It's
Yeah.
kind of lost its interest to me. I feel like I'd rather just watch it without some of the commentary. I'd rather just like see the results. 'Cause I feel like when you listen to it, everyone's trying to like, hype up. I don't feel like it's not very like critical.
Yeah.
And, like it's much more like, hey, let's just be very encouraging. Let's elevate and like
That's
uplift
what
these
it's
guys
for. Yeah.
as much as we can. And I mean, cool, but I mean, like at the end of the day, like there's guys who are gonna play in this league and there's guys who aren't, and that's what they're like testing to find out. And I'd rather just hear like a more honest and critical